Hello, welcome to our today's lesson for Standard 8. I am Teacher Naomi. It's time for our English lesson. Now before we begin what we should be doing today, let us revisit whatever we did in the previous lesson. Now I remember we were learning about the use of given pronouns, and the pronouns we learned how to use them were two. One, who, and the other one, whose. We said who is used to refer to the subject in a sentence. And we said a subject in a sentence is the person or thing doing the action in the sentence, or the person or thing being talked about in that sentence. So when you are referring to the person, to the thing that is doing an action in a sentence, or that is being talked about in the sentence, that is when we use pronoun who. We also looked at how to use pronoun whose, and we said whose shows possession, belonging, ownership. This is the boy whose book got lost. So the book that got lost belongs to this boy. The boy owns the book that got lost. After looking at how to use who and whose, I gave you an assignment, and I want to believe we have all done it. So let us now check. Were we able to give the correct answer? Now, the sentence read, use the appropriate word to fill in the gap. And the sentence that we are supposed to complete or fill the left gap is, this is the driver dash hurt the young boy. And the choices we had are A, who, B, whose, C, which, and D, whom. Now, according to what we learned, this is the driver dash hurt the young boy. We are referring to the driver. Driver here is the subject in this sentence. This driver did something. He hurt the young boy. So how do we show that the subject did something? Which pronoun there is appropriate for showing that the subject did the given action? Let's see if you are able to get the answer correctly. So the answer is who. This is the driver who hurt the young boy. This is the driver who hurt the young boy. So check your answer, cross-check it with the answer I've just given you, and find out, were you able to give the right answer? If you were, then that is good. If you did not make it to give the right answer, then you can revise the notes you took and then make sure you redo the work now and do more questions regarding the use of who and whose. So now let us turn to our today's work. So today we shall be reading a passage. After reading the passage, we shall look at the new word that we will come across in the passage, the vocabulary. And then we are required to answer questions pertaining the passage we shall have read. So as we read the passage, make sure you read keenly. And I said, for you to be able to give the right answer on questions regarding a given passage, you need to read the passage several times. The first time, you just read it to get a general idea about the passage. Then the second time, you now read to understand what is being talked about in the passage. Then the third time now, you read before looking at the questions. After that, read the first question, go back to the passage, check which paragraph, which sentence, which part of a sentence carries the answer to the question you are to answer. And after that again, confirm that the answer you've given is the right answer. Something else to always remember is reading the question carefully. Look for the keywords in the question. So now let us read our passage. The title of the passage is A Mobile Phone. I'm sure we have all seen a mobile phone. Some of us, our parents have mobile phone, our guardians have mobile phone, and some of us have mobile phones. So let us read the passage. And the mobile phone is beautifully drawn on the screen. So let's read together. A mobile phone is one of the devices used to communicate in the modern world. So when we talk about modern world, we are talking about world in the current times, not in the past. A long time ago, there were no mobile phones, but people still communicated. But in this modern world, in the current world, in the today's time, now, these days, in the 21st century, in the year 2021, we have a mobile phone. We use a mobile phone to communicate, to pass information. Communicate is simply passing information from one person to another. If, for example, you are left at home to take care of your little brother or your little sister, and something bad happens, for example, he hurts or she hurts herself, you could pick the mobile phone, make a phone call to your parent who is at work, and inform him or her that your little brother or sister has got hurt. And then your parent again, using the same mobile phone, will tell you what to do. Again, when you are in school and maybe you get sick, your class teacher can make a call using a mobile phone and inform your parents that you are sick. So in this modern world, we have various devices that we use to communicate, and one of them is the mobile phone. Let's continue reading the passage. It has made communication easy and fast. So that is one of the advantages of a mobile phone. You can communicate easily and very fast. Long ago, a messenger would be given a message and walk around for so many kilometers to deliver the message where it is required. He could take a whole day before reaching where he was going to deliver the message, and therefore it took a long time. It delayed the message from being received by the person or people who are intended to receive the message. Today, mobile phone has made it very, very easy. Within a second, you can have communicated to the person you want to communicate to. Again, it is very easy to use a mobile phone. You use it wherever you are. You don't need to move from one place to another for you to be able to use a mobile phone. Now let us continue reading the passage. The world has become a global village. Now we are talking about the whole world. All the continents of the world have become just like a village. Meaning, in the village, we almost know each and every member in the neighborhood. We can just run to the neighbor and talk to them. Now, this mobile phone has made the world a village simply because communication can be done from one place to another within a short time. You can communicate to a person in a far county, a far country, and a far continent, meaning you can use a mobile phone to communicate to a person in your county or a person in another county. For example, a person in Nairobi County can communicate to other people in the same Nairobi County and can also communicate to people in other counties like Mombasa County, Kilifi County, and the others. Again, if you are in Kenya, you can communicate to somebody in another country, say Tanzania, Uganda, or even a far country. You can also communicate when you are in Africa to a person in Europe. So, mobile phones have made communication easy, fast, and therefore has made the world become just a village. We continue reading the passage. On the screen, you can see we have a person making a call. Down there, we have a phone whereby an email is being sent through that phone. Up there, we have a mobile phone where a message has been texted on the phone. So, let's read the passage. You can make a call, send a text, or an email using a mobile phone. Those are just a few examples of what you can do, how you can communicate using a mobile phone. 1, you can make an email and send it. 2, you can make a phone call and pass the information you want to the person you want. 3, you can simply write a message or text using your phone and forward the message to the person you want to get that information. Now, let us look at the new words we came across in the passage. The new words are what we call vocabulary. And even if they are 10, they still remain to be vocabulary. That is to say, the word vocabulary has no plural. It is the way it is, whether it is 1 word, 10 words, or even 50 new words, we shall still call them vocabulary. Now, our first vocabulary was communication. Now, to communicate is to pass information from one person to another. Looking on the screen, we have an envelope symbolizing a letter. Some days ago or some years ago, it was a common way of communicating. If you were in Nairobi and you wanted to communicate to somebody, say in Garissa, you would write a letter, take it to the post office, and then the letter will be taken to where this person is. Then he or she would read the message you have written to him or her. It is now fading out with the coming of mobile phones, but still we have people who still use letters to communicate. We have another device used for communication down there. What is that? Very good. That is a radio. We get a lot of information of what is happening in our country, what is happening in our neighboring countries, and also what is happening outside in the world at large. For example, when the coronavirus broke out, we received this information through television and through radios. It is through the radio and the television that we learned that this disease had broken out somewhere in China. Later we also learned that the virus is now in our country. The same radio or television was used by the government to pass information to us of how to prevent the spread of corona. We were also informed of the number of people who contracted the disease, of the number of people who were dying of the disease. So a radio is very vital in passing information, and this one is to very many people. Now, another word that we came across in the passage is email. What is an email? Now, an email is a system that we use to send a message from one electronic device to another. It can be from one computer to another. It can be from one mobile phone to another. So, when you want to send a message to a friend, you can simply go into your phone, to the internet, write an email and forward it to your friend. Modern is another word that we came across in our passage. Now, modern is the opposite of the word traditional. So, modern means current time, current days, the present time. Looking on the screen, we have a mobile phone and a telephone booth. Now, before the coming of the mobile phone, we used to make phone calls using a telephone that was connected by wires. Currently, we are using a mobile phone. So, mobile phone is the modern device as compared to the telephone booth. Now, I want to believe you read the passage carefully together with me. I also want to believe you were able to find out which paragraph, which sentence carries the answer you require to do the activity we are going to do now. The first activity is a question that we are supposed to answer regarding the passage we have just read. Now let us read the question together. A mobile phone is used to communicate in the dash. A mobile phone is used to communicate in the dash. A. Ancient world. B. Moderate world. C. Modern world. And D. Traditional world. We go back to our first paragraph. We read it again and see, are we able to get the answer? A mobile phone is one of the devices used to communicate in the modern world. So a mobile phone is used to communicate in the modern world. That is where our answer is. Now, among us the four choices, which one carries the answer? Very good. Choice C, modern world. A mobile phone is used to communicate in the modern world. Another activity that we are supposed to do, let us read it together. You can do all the following with a mobile phone, except I've said there are many ways, according to what we've read in the passage, there are many ways in which we can use a mobile phone to communicate. So, choice A says send an email, choice B says make a phone call, choice C says post a letter, D send a text. Which one of these is not possible with a mobile phone? Now let us read. You can make a call, send a text or an email using a mobile phone. There is sending a text, using an email, and making a call. So according to the choices we have, which one is not there? Good. C. Post a letter. We cannot use a mobile phone to post a letter. Now, we've come to the end of today's lesson. I will leave you with an activity that will help you to reread the passage and to keep on revising before we meet for our next English lesson. So the assignment reads, why has the world become a global village? Read those four given statements and find out which one shows why we say currently the world has become a global village. Make sure you read carefully for you to get the correct answer. Will you do that? Good. Let's meet in the next lesson. Bye.